Aloha, everyone. Welcome back to Inspire Collective online piece. My name is Russ Kimura. Today, we have Emari Hunn. We're going to be interviewing her and about her journey and story in business as well as in Inspire Collective. So good to have you, Emari.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your story. What God's done, where you are today, what you're currently doing, and all that.
That's a whole lot. Okay, well, let's start with my God journey. So I grew up in a really abusive home. So I didn't have much growing up in Japan. And when I came here, I was kind of alone. And I didn't have a role model, So when I met this family through the church I was going, they had so much love in their family. And they're faithful. And I wanted that. Whatever they had, I really wanted it. And I started going to church. And that's when I got baptized. I was 16. And after that, though, I didn't truly learn how to have conversation with God. So I didn't really have a true relationship with God. And I went through so many years of that. But one day at the other church that I was going to, I came across a healing class from all these childhood trauma. You carry that around for so many years. And I was able to get over a lot of things. God just took it away.
Wow.
And that's when I started having true relationship with God. And that turned into having great career as well. So that kind of leads into the next part, what about at work? I'm not a pastor, I'm not a minister, but how can I serve God well?
Sure.
And through my work, when I was already in finance industry, I was super frustrated with work, and I was telling God, how can I serve you? And, I don't feel like I'm doing a great job.
Sure.
But God said, you are exactly where I placed you. That was, aha.
Oh.
So I'm where I'm supposed to be. And he said, you're doing a great job.
Wow.
So that's when I understood that he opens the door, I step through it, and I just need to focus on God wherever I'm at. Yeah. So that's what I've been continuing.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. For some people who might be watching, they might have had a similar experience growing up with some abuse or some different things. What encouragement would you have to them to step on and find a place of healing with that?
Absolutely. That you need to know that not a single tear and heartbreak is wasted. God uses everything for good, and I can attest to that. It's beautiful.
Thank you for sharing that. So you were in the finance industry, and then now you're currently at a bank. Is that correct?
Yes.
How have you seen that truth come through where you heard God say you are exactly where you need to be? How does that play out in your life? Like, how do you see that? Like, what does that mean?
Right. So I thought to serve God, you have to be in ministry. Yeah. And that's when God's answer came. He said, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. And I placed you there, and you're doing a good job. So even in, my job is banking, or if I was in retail, I was in retail a long time ago, and wherever I was, he placed me there. So it's my job to do a good job representing God.
Sure.
So how I handle clients, if I have a tough day, how do I respond to that?
Sure.
And am I kind? Am I loving? That's how I can serve God, and God will reward you so much and bless you so much when you're faithful.
Very cool. So you've been a part of Inspire Collective, and I'd just love to hear your experience with it and any encouragement for people who are maybe considering or curious about Inspire Collective and why they should come or check it out.
So funny how I found Collective. So I started our family started coming to this church, and we loved it, and I wanted more.
Sure.
So when I heard about Coffee Talk, I thought, great, I'll join. I went to the Coffee Talk, and I loved it so much that I asked, I think it was James. I asked James, so how do I join?
Yeah.
And I think I got introduced to you and Pastor Ju, and after that, I was in, and that was it. I just went to Coffee Talk. I met great people, and I thought it's great to make connections in a professional world, I love that. I think that's so fresh that we can meet like-minded people in the professional world. So that's why I'm loving it.
Yeah. Yeah. For those of the people who have not been to a coffee talk or don't really know, what did you experience? What was it like for you? Like, what was a coffee talk?
So coffee talk, you show up and we do kind of like a little devo and have a short discussion. We get to do kind of like a small group, and everybody will share because it's not so big.
Sure.
We get to all speak and get to know each other, and I really like that.
Yeah. And the cool thing within that, it's also somewhat business where we get to share about our business. Because I know people have gotten business out of the coffee talk where they share about, hey, this is what I do. I'm I'm accountant, and I've been looking for perfect, right? So some of the connections are cool, but it is focused on kind of Christ-centered. Like, we're here to grow our faith in the marketplace wherever we are placed. So I think that's kind of a cool thing. It's been great to have you on board with Inspire Collective and just all the different things that we're doing. So as far as your family and like, I know we saw you at the barbecue at Inspire Collective barbecue. How's that journey? Because even your husband came to an event. I know he sponsored one of the events we have. How's that been for you guys in terms of just, being a part of Inspire and the collective?
So the whole family is involved. My husband does participate in some of the events. My daughter sometimes, gets involved too. And InspireChurch has a lot of events, so we have plenty of opportunities to participate and get to know people. So that's been great for our whole family. It's great that there's men's camp and there's, women's events, and then business altogether and children. So I think the whole family can get involved in something and connect. That's the main thing, connection.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of cool to feel like, hey, I'm in business, but I have a place to belong and connect. And it's not just the business people give money and that's it, but there's actually a community. Part of our mission and vision for Inspire Collective is impact culture, influence change. And I know you're kind of heading up some of our community development or community outreaches. And what would you love to see in that? Like, as we look forward, any things that you're excited about that the impact we can make as a collective?
It's we can collectively impact the communities around us, and that's what I love the most about Inspire Collective is that connection that we make together.
Yeah.
We can do something much bigger than what we can do by ourselves. And God has opened many doors.
Yeah.
Sometimes He'll just place me in front of right people. And another times I remember now I know certain people from collective and I meet somebody else that needs their services and I get to connect them. And that's so awesome.
Yeah. And it's doing community things, right? So like, I know we're hosting a job fair coming up and the idea of like one of the biggest struggles I hear from my business owner friends is like, oh man, employees, I need workers or whatever. So being able to put on a statewide job fair to hook up business owners with people who are looking for a job is a great way to influence change and impact the community and then do that.
Double win.
Yeah. Perfect for people looking for a job and people who need employees. It's like so.
Also, it's actually a triple win because we're also blessed in Dress for Success. YWCA, we're collecting professional clothing donation, and we're blessing them with all of the donated items.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a triple win. Win.
Right.
That's awesome. So any other things you want to share with the online community about your journey in faith and business, family, Inspire Collective, InspireChurch, that you'd love to share about or encourage, someone who's maybe watching and maybe checking out online, but maybe hasn't come in person or I don't know.
Wow. Just get yourself involved, come to church or attend an event or talk to somebody, chat with somebody, talk to somebody, get into a group, and then you will see, and then you think for yourself, why didn't I do this sooner?
It's so true. It's just taking that first step, and it can be scary, but at the same time, hopefully met with welcome arms, which I'm sure will happen, and And the nice thing too is like within Inspire Collective, there are multiple events that aren't at church. You could come to Dave & Buster's and come to our networking group, or you could come to a business insight or a coffee talk that's not necessarily a church to try it out first. And so I think there's many avenues for people to connect and get plugged in. So this has been really great. Any other things you want to share? I'm trying to think that this has been super awesome that you'd want to encourage our audience with before we wrap.
I think it's great that it's not always super churchy.
Yeah.
Sometimes people think, well, event from the church, is it going to be a Bible study every time? That's not always the case. We're truly here to connect and help each other. How can we help each other and, make the world a better place, So, you don't have to be scared about attending a church just by coming to an event. Everything is not a churchy event. Sometimes, people hesitate.
Sure.
Because of that.
Yeah. They don't know what to expect, right? If I come to this Inspire Collective event, are they going to be all weird and, not weird, but do like worship and prayer? I don't know how to even do any of that, so I don't want to come. I mean, many times it's just like, hey, we believe what we believe, and we're faith-based, but we're not pushing it on anyone. We're saying, in fact, the Bible has a ton of biblical principles that completely translate into the business world. In fact, a lot of it comes from that. And so like to work with excellence in the marketplace is important, but maybe you just connect at a coffee talk or a business insight, and then you start to realize, hey, there's more depth and purpose to my job, right?
Yeah.
And that's the whole point.
That just rang the bell. Learning. It's been a great place to learn. I've been in a professional work environment for a long time, but there's always something to learn, and all these speakers, and sometimes we read books and we continue educating ourselves. And I really love that about Collective as well. That's
a really good point. It's not just, it is connection, but the opportunity to grow yourself, grow your mind, your knowledge base, and, and maybe certain things that you don't really know, you can learn from people, or you connect it to someone who knows. And so that's another great thing. Well, this has been great, Emari. Thank you so much for joining us and
so much.
sharing your story. Aloha. Take care.
Aloha.